The title of this video is Why Bill Russell is the Best of All Time and Why Tim Duncan is the Greatest of All Time. For starters, let's define the words best and greatest, because I think so often people out there don't understand what the greatest of all time means. Best, if you look up the dictionary definition, basically deals with quality. Greatest deals with quality plus quantity. Go ahead and look it up. You'll see the word best in there talking about the highest level of quality. When you look up the word greatest, it talks about the number above average, the quantity above average, the quantity of quality above average. So it's quantity plus quality is the greatest, whereas quality is more best. Best, if you want to translate it further to me, is peak performance. That's what best means. It's just strictly quality. If you want to go over a 1 year period, 2 year period, 3 year period, a shortened stain of time, a sustained period of time, that would be what your best is. If you want to make it longer, 4 or 5, whatever it be. But greatest would cover a career. Greatest is quality plus quantity. So when we talk about the greatest of all time, you've got to keep in mind more than peak performance. You've got to talk about year 1, year 5, year 10, year 15, and in some cases with these players, year 20. So we got to take that all in mind. And by doing so, to me, the best of all time, it's a clear 3. Number 1 to me has got to be Bill Russell. But also in the argument is George Mikan and Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan won 6 of 8 championships in the 90s and was playing at a super high level. No one could touch him. I believe he, 5 MVPs, 6 Finals MVPs. He was the man. But back in the late 40s and early 50s, so was George Mikan, one of 7 of 8 championships back when they had the NBA, and before that the Basketball Athletic Association, the National Basketball League. He won 7 championships in 8 years and also was the number 1 player in the league in each and every one of those years. So George Mikan has to be considered for that too. I don't care if he played in Era 1. You have to consider him, compare him to the guys in Era 2 and Era 3, and as we enter Era 4. But Bill Russell is the clear-cut greatest. He won 5 MVPs. He would have won 9, 10, 11 NBA Finals MVPs if they gave the award back then. He won 8 straight championships, won 11 championships total in 13 seasons. The 2 seasons the Celtics did not win championships. They were in the finals. I mean, you cannot deny Bill Russell being the best player of all time. And if you were to call him the greatest of all time, I wouldn't argue that either. But he only did it over 13 years, and there's guys who had longer careers. People like Tim Duncan, LeBron James, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who to me are the 3 greatest players of all time, because you take the longevity of their careers intact. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 6-time MVP, a couple finals MVPs, won 6 rings, 1 with the Bucks, 5 with the Lakers. Only reason I don't put him number 1 is he left a small market team in Milwaukee and joined a big market team in LA. And for the 70s, he couldn't win championships with Hall of Famers like Adrian Dantley, Jamal Wilkes. It wasn't until Magic Johnson got there in the 80s that they went over the top. But I'm not trying to bring down any negativity on his career. I'm just explaining why he's 3rd in my book. LeBron James won 4 championships. No one's played better at age 19 and age 40 right now like he's doing. And what he's doing is just amazing. He won 4 championships. The MVPs, the Finals MVPs with various teams, anywhere from Cleveland to Miami to LA. He's definitely in the consideration. But the reason I put Tim Duncan number 1 is because his level of greatness was so sustained and it was unbroken. For 19 years, the Spurs were a dynasty, won 5 championships in a small market. That does not happen in basketball. It doesn't happen in the NBA. Small market teams do not win NBA championships. You have Tim Duncan there winning 5 NBA titles in a small market city. Do you know how many teams in NBA history have won titles in the NBA in small market? Only 4 in 75 years. If you break down big market, small market, medium market into the top third, medium third, and bottom third, only 4 other small market teams have ever won NBA championships. That would be the 2022 Milwaukee Bucks. That would be the 1971 Milwaukee Bucks. That would be the 1977 Portland Trailblazers and the 1956 Rochester Royals. Nobody else. But yet when Timmy came along, the Spurs won 5 championships, whether he was teamed up with David Robinson, whether he was teamed up with Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili, or whether he was teamed up with Kawhi Leonard at the end of his career. Just incredible to win 50 games every year, and the only time they didn't was in 1999 when there was a lockout, but they still went 37-13, which projects to a 50-win season, and they also won the championship that year, so blah, blah, blah. Just an incredible career, especially when you consider 3 of those guys that he teamed with that became Hall of Famers were not even lottery picks. Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, and Kawhi Leonard were not supposed to be all-time great players. And yet they go down as such because they had a great teammate like Tim Duncan. As Steve Kerr says, best teammate he ever had. He also says he was the most complete player he ever played with. He was a 15-time All-NBA player, 15-time All-Defense. No one else has done that. Just unbelievable. He also has the career plus-minus record, plus 10,000 if you add up regular season and playoffs. Only person who comes close to that is LeBron James, and he's more than 1,000 off. He's going to have to play another 3-4 seasons to have a chance at breaking that record. It's an unbreakable record. I think third is Steph Curry, and he's like 3,000 behind that. It's just an unbelievable career, and he's the only person who can possibly top that is Bill Russell. And when you look at Bill Russell's career, it was defined by defense. Actually, both these guys were defined by defense. If you look at the top 25 defensive teams of all time, according to relative rankings, which is relative to their era, how much above or below average they were. The 7 of the top 25 defenses of all time are Bill Russell Celtic teams. 6 are Tim Duncan Spurs teams. So if you look at it, most of the top 25 teams, 13 in total, come from the Spurs and Tim Duncan or the Celtics and Bill Russell. If you look at that, nobody else is close to that. I think Kevin Garnett had 2 top 25 teams, 3 top 30, not even close. And on offense, Steve Nash had 6 top 25 offenses for teams he piloted from the Phoenix Suns and Dallas Mavericks, and Michael Jordan had 4. So nobody dominated defense like Bill and Timmy. Nobody dominated basketball like Bill and Timmy. And that's why, in my humble opinion, Bill Russell is the best of all time, and Tim Duncan is the greatest of all time.